Hey, welcome back to Great American Movie Review. Mikiah here once again by myself, Kyle not joining me this time for a new release film. As usual, that's the case. But this time I'm here to talk about the new Nicolas Cage film, Dream Scenario. As usual, I'm going to keep this spoiler free, and especially in a movie like this where, it's got a very strange and specific concept. I'll just lay out the basic details of it for you and my thoughts on the film from a general perspective. Dream Scenario stars Nicolas Cage as a middle aged professor of no particular note. That is until people in his life and around the world begin seeing him in their dreams. The film is directed by a Norwegian filmmaker named Christopher Borgli. I don't know exactly how to say it. Shame on me and my Norwegian heritage for that, but good for him getting a movie made in America, I guess, because this is his first American feature. So I've not seen his previous other feature nor any of his short films. This is my first exposure to him as a filmmaker. So as usual, as I've talked about before, I do not watch previews. I don't watch trailers for films. That's just, I go see as many films as I can. I rely on posters and just getting a brief concept of what something is before I go into it. So that's all I really knew is what I told you at the beginning. That's all I knew going into this film. And I'll just start right off the bat. I mean, Nicolas Cage is the center performer here. Obviously, this movie is completely surrounding his character. There are other actors in here, namely Julian Nicholson, Tim Meadows, Michael Cera even shows up, Dylan Baker. But this is the Nicolas Cage show, and the reason to see this movie is Nicolas Cage's performance because he is incredible here. Honestly, I've turned around a lot on my perception of Nicolas Cage over the years because for a while it's kind of that thing of like I don't know if he's a good actor or a bad actor or he's just kind of wild, and it's like I think he's great. I think that Nicolas Cage is a great actor. He's just a weird guy though, and he likes weird roles and weird movies, and he gives weird performances, and sometimes that's off-putting, and sometimes it doesn't even work in a film necessarily, but you always kind of know that he's coming in with his kind of energy to the film. And here it works perfectly as he's playing somebody who's very mundane. Like that's the whole point is his lack of remarkable quality. He's a little bit awkward and he plays up those kind of awkward moments that feel very real perfectly. And he, like I said, he's really is the reason to see this movie if you choose to go do so. That being said, this movie really didn't work for me, unfortunately. This is one that I conceptually alone I was looking forward to it. I didn't have a lot of expectations. Like I said, didn't watch the trailers, so I just got the film as it was happening in front of me, and it still left me disappointed without those expectations because I think that the movie has a really fascinating concept, something that could be akin to something like an Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind or just something in that realm. But as far as the weirdness goes, it just doesn't quite deliver on that concept fully. Its priorities are clear, and it is more focused on how people react to this, and it has a very specific mindset of this idea of okay, so everybody's seeing this guy in their head in their sleep, how do they see him? And in that lens it kind of gives you this look at celebrity culture kind of commentary on making judgments about people that we don't know based on our perception of them through one mean or another, in this case literally through people's dreams. It does have some darker turns and elements to it for sure. This is an A24 film, so that's kind of par for the course for them as a studio. It's not going to be the most digestible thing ever. However, I wish this movie went deeper with the strangeness of the dream realities because I think those dream sequences are definitely the standout in the film. And I really actually was taken with the editing here between the reality and the dreaming. It does a really good job at presenting the actual dreams themselves. It's just I wasn't that engaged with the take that they were taking on this whole thing, which to me felt very much like a chronically online kind of mindset about things. It took the idea of celebrity and making those kind of judgments and filtered it through a very like Twitter mindset. And I don't think the movie goes any deeper than that. There was a point when I was watching and I was like, is this really all this movie has to offer? And I never had my mind changed after that point in the movie. Like there's nothing that came around that really made me think, okay, they're really doing something more here that I'm compelled by. But it just kind of kept going in this direction, and I just never got on board with the kind of movie they were making. And I'm all for if they want to make a cancel culture kind of focused film, especially in the modern age. Honestly, that's a significant part of our culture, and I understand why certain filmmakers have latched onto those ideas and made films surrounding them. However, I think of something like Tar from last year, and that was part of that film, and it was still handled, I think, with more nuance, much more interestingly than it was here. Looking at the response to this online, it seems that I'm in the minority here on this one, but it just never really connected with me. I still think that if you're interested in the concept, you should go check it out, just because I feel like it's one of those that it might hit you differently than it hit me, and it just didn't connect with me is all. Like it's just one of those where my wavelength was off with it, and I just never got in its groove, never got in its jet stream. So if anybody else saw the movie and has any thoughts on it different than mine, or if you felt the same way, feel free to leave a like, a comment, subscribe to us if you feel so inclined. But I'd love to talk about it. So yeah, if anybody wants to hit us up in the comments, and I'd love to talk to somebody else about this film, because it had so much potential. Even at a certain point in the movie, I was really excited about where it could go, and to me, it just didn't really go anywhere. So yeah, but those are just my thoughts, just one guy's thoughts on the internet about the movie Dream Scenario. But thanks for stopping by, and we have new main show episodes every Thursday where we discuss more in depth the context of films picked every other week by me and Kyle, my friend who we do the show with. But that'll do it for this episode, and we'll see you at the movies.